Good morning, and thank everybody for participating in the first Procurement Council meeting for 2021. It is an almost entirely virtual meeting today. Dennis, how are you? So we will just quickly run through a couple of housekeeping items. So as part of the executive orders related to COVID, this meeting is allowed to be conducted both in person and virtually. If anybody has questions about that authority, they can certainly send us a note. We can share that with you, but it's the same authority we've conducted the last several meetings under. Just some housekeeping items for purposes of starting this meeting. We muted everybody. We did that just because we know that folks may be in their office or at home and may be picking up some background noise. That means that when we go to address you, either for attendance or if you have an interest in speaking, we'll need you to unmute yourself. We'll give you some time to do that. And then to speak and to remute your phone if you could, just as we have been for, and I'm sure you have been for most of the work calls and the calls that you've been doing recently. Okay. We're going to start with roll call in order to establish quorum. So, Office of General Services, I'm Sean Carroll, I am here. Office of the State Comptroller, Patricia Warrington.
I'm here.
Thank you. Office Division of the Budget, Jason DiGianni.
I'm here.
Thank you. Chief Diversity Office, Dwight Flynn. Manny, are you on the call? Are you in the voting seat today?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. This is Manny Tedeschi. I'm here.
Great. Thank you very much. Empire State Development, Pravina.
Hi, I'm here.
Great, thank you. Department of Agriculture and Markets, Lisa Brooks. Okay. Docs, JP Burrell.
Yep, I'm here, Sean. Good morning.
Good morning. Department of Health, Andy Ruby.
Morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Andy. Information Technology, Dennis Quinn. In person. Dennis showed up to keep me and the rest of OGS company this morning. Okay. OMH, Paul Murray.
Hey, good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Paul. OPWDD, Deb Greco. Okay. SUNY, Tom Hipchen.
Morning, Sean. I'm on.
Good morning, Tom. Local government, Sean Cullinane.
Here.
Great, thank you. Kara Wallace, legislative appointee. Okay. Legislative appointee, Winifred Schiff.
Good morning, all. I'm here.
Good morning. Legislative appointee Jackie Burling. Okay.
Good morning. I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, good morning, Jackie. How are you?
Too much shoveling to do with a bad shoulder. Sorry, or I'd be there in person.
That's all right. Dennis is keeping us company. And then legislative appointee John Evers.
Here?
Great. Kara is on also? Okay, great. All right, so I recognize that we have quorum. Can you confirm that?
Good morning, Sean. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's Julie Suarez. I joined a few minutes late. I apologize.
Oh, great. Thank you, Julie. We were just confirming quorum, so that's great. All right, so thank everybody for being available. The first order of business, as always, is to ask you all to have reviewed the meeting minutes from the November 5th, 2020 meeting. Chair will entertain any changes or concerns about the minutes. I can read through the roll if you want, but I think for the minutes, it's probably easier for me to just ask if anybody has objections or concerns or changes for the minutes.
When ready,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the minutes from Sean Cullinane. And
Second,
sorry, the second is from who?
Jackie Brilling.
Great, thank you, Jackie. So we have a motion and a second. So we'll take a voice vote for a voice vote. Yeah, we'll take a voice vote to approve the minutes. If everybody could unmute, anybody in favor of approving the minutes, please unmute and say aye.
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 That is a lovely chorus. I appreciate it. Anyone opposed to the approval of the minutes, please unmute and express that. And are there any abstentions to the minutes? Okay. Hearing none, I continue to have the rules work group on here in order to provide you an update on that. And, I continue to make the same apology, and it's starting to feel like an excuse, but I have the same teams working on many of the COVID activities and vaccine activities that I also have working on the rules group. That is stuck with me. I will make a concerted effort to bring that forward. We know that at some point there may be opportunities or interest from council members from bringing items forward. So we please ask you to not let the lack of progress on rules to prevent you from bringing forward anything that you'd like to address. Even without rules, we certainly want to make sure the council has the full complement of their opportunities at their disposal. So with that said, we actually, we've decided to put the presentation that we always do right up front on this agenda. Is the Department of Labor ready, Dan?
Sorry, as I'm figuring out the best way to unmute my mic, you'd think I'd figure that out by now.
That's great. Mike,
yes.
do you want to introduce yourself and then take your presentation away?
Absolutely.
Great,
so
thanks.
my name is Mike Polialonga. I'm the Deputy General Counsel for the State Department of Labor. Very, very brief background. I've been with the department for about, now 14 years and, primarily have focused on wage and hour and, employee enforcement matters. What I am here today to talk about is there was a question posed, and it's essentially, what is the effect of increases in either the minimum wage, the prevailing wage rate, or the addition of new labor mandates on existing contracts? And I'll say this is actually a much simpler question from the Department of Labor's point of view, because we do not view and have not seen cases upholding that any contract would be accepted from the labor law, or any increases that are made to it, or any changes or additional provisions. So in effect, if you bid a contract for 10 years, and that's based on today's wage rates, that contractor should realize, maybe the minimum wage is going to go up. Maybe prevailing wage will increase, as it tends to do every July 1st. Maybe the upstate minimum wage will increase. We deal with a lot of issues, typically at the local level, where contractors enter into very long service agreements with public employers, and then realize, oh shoot, I'm 10 years in. I bid this based on 2009 wages, and now I'm losing money now that it's 2016. And that's where they either try to go back to the contracting entity to get some relief, or if they're told, sorry, you're not getting any relief, that's the deal we struck, they either, are saying we can't perform, or they just perform at a loss. So just to highlight a couple of the areas that I'd say are really ripe with changes right now. So the minimum wage increased again, for portions of downstate and upstate. And there is one more increase that will affect downstate, namely Long Island and Westchester, to get to 15. And then this summer, keep an eye out for the Division of Budget to issue a report recommending a percentage increase to the upstate and Western New York minimum wage. That has to be published by October 1st, but I'd expect sometime in the month of December for that to be published. Also, July 1st, I think everyone hopefully knows on this meeting, we published our annual prevailing wage schedules. So always keep a lookout for that. And then the newest or the most impactful labor change, I would say, to this group in this vein would be the addition of paid sick leave. And that, for the first time, statewide, there is a mandate that employers, from small employers providing unpaid leave of up to 5 days, small employers with, I'd say, that are well heeled but have over $1 million of annual income, or employers between 5 and 99 need to provide 5 days of paid sick leave. And if you have more than 100 employers, it's 7 days of paid sick leave. So I'll say that, should not have a real impact on the administration of a contract, but it's something to just be aware of that your contractors might be coming back and noting. So there's a governor's website on that with a lot of FAQs and questions and guidance. And beyond that, that's about it for my short and sweet presentation.
Mike, can we ask some questions?
Absolutely.
Great. So I'm going to take the chair's privilege and ask the first couple. Just to make sure we all have the dates in front of us, can you share with us the dates that the minimum wage changes upstate and downstate on the way to the $15 minimum wage?
Yeah, so minimum wage changes go into effect on December 31st every year. October 1st this year is when the Division of Budget is required to publish its recommendation as far as a percentage increase. So what's happening with upstate is DOB looks at certain economic factors, cost of living, consumer price index, and determines whether a minimum wage increase is appropriate, and if so, at what percentage based off the wage right now, which is $12.50 for upstate. So in the fall, keep your eyes open for that. That will be the next increase. July 1st is the annual prevailing wage schedules are issued. We do surveys in the months of April and May, and during the month of June, we calculate and take those, the info from those surveys and produce the new prevailing wage schedule. And then the last, as far as dates, so for paid sick leave, the accrual of paid sick leave, which comes in at 1 hour for every 30 hours worked, subject to those maximum caps I said earlier, that began on September 30th of last year, and the use of paid sick leave went into effect on January 1st this year.
That's great. And then on the contract side, so one of the questions we get at OGS is even if there is a path to in the contract to recognize the increase to prevailing wage or minimum wage. Prevailing wage there usually is a path to, but even if we've allowed a vendor to adjust their pricing based on increased minimum wages, sometimes there's a question of all of the things that are affected by that. So as goes prevailing wage, so goes some of their insurances, so goes some of their requirements. Is there any formula or way for us to understand all of the ancillary costs that get added when minimum wage goes up or when the wage structure goes up?
So with regard to minimum wage, as far as, I'm not really sure what you mean by the ancillary costs, but, really minimum wage on this, this is a new mechanism that the legislature put in place in, I believe, 2015, but somebody can correct me if it's actually 2016. The structure was for a longer term phase in to get towards to $15 an hour for all workers. What happened was the legislature set a schedule for New York City small employers, New York City large employers, Westchester and Long Island together, and the rest of what we call upstate. I know, if you say to certain people in certain counties that aren't on that list that they're upstate, they will have strong words for you, but that's the shorthand. So what goes at, they analyze economic factors and determine a percentage increase. And so this year for what I'm calling upstate will be the first year that has that percentage increase. I'm not sure, if you have clarification on the ancillary costs, I can certainly talk about it.
Sure, and it may not be something that is directly related to the role at Department of Labor. What we're hearing is, so if salaries go up from $13.50 to $15, we're hearing that administrative costs, in some cases, the amount of insurance businesses have to carry also goes up. So we're seeing not a request for the $1.50 an hour, but we're seeing requests for $2.25 or $2.50 an hour. And we've been asking for folks to tie that back to the actual expenses. I just didn't know if your group had any line of sight into those sort of costs that are not wages that increase proportionally with wages.
Yeah, so generally those are the benefits and wage supplements. So those are things like sick leave, health insurance, vacation, PTO banks, anything based off of a wage amount would have that direct impact. So where it's kind of the obvious one, the employer does a 3% based on your salary into your 401k. Well, when minimum wage goes up, that is a natural consequence. But when you are dealing with vacation leaves and other benefits that are directly based on that, you would have that same increase. I know a number I've heard for public employees, those benefit pension, all-in costs is around 50 to 55 cents on the dollar in addition to the wages being paid. So whatever that administrative, or supplements cost, the actual cost to the employer, I could see certainly that being just a much higher amount when you factor those in. So I could certainly see, a $1 increase in the minimum wage as tying to about $1.50 or so in increases to the employer's actual cost when you factor in supplements and other benefits to employees.
Great. Thank you very much for that explanation. If it's okay, I'm going to open it to the council members and just run through and I think I'm going to run through everybody and just ask real quickly if they have questions, because everybody is remote today. Patty, do you have any questions?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Great. How about you, Jason?
Oh, thank you for the presentation.
Manny?
Hi, this is Dwight.
Hi, Dwight.
Here with Matt. Hey, hi everyone. No, we're good so far.
Great, thank you. Pravina, any questions?
No, thank you very much for the presentation. It was really helpful.
Lisa, did you get a chance to join? Okay. JP, any questions?
No, I'm all set. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Andy?
All set. Thank you for the presentation.
Dennis?
No questions. Thank you, Michael.
How about you, Paul? Okay. What about you, Deb? I don't know if you got a chance to join or not. Okay. Tom Hipchin? Any questions?
Good. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Great. How about you, Sean?
No, thank you. Good presentation.
Kara, any questions?
No, I don't.
Winifred?
Thank you, Michael. No questions.
Great. How about you, Jackie?
That was excellent. Thank you. No questions.
John?
Nope, thank you very much.
And what about you, Julie?
No questions, but again, thanks for the information. Really helpful.
Okay. Well, Mike, I didn't plan to let you off that easy, but it looks like you supplied the information that the council was hungry for there, so we appreciate that.
I will take the small victories I can, and thank you all for hearing me out.
We appreciate it. And if we do have follow-up questions, if the council sends those questions to me, is it okay if I forward them to you?
Absolutely.
Great. All right. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you all. Have a nice day.
So next in the order of the agenda is legislative updates, and I will ask Tyler Feen to present to the council on any legislative updates.
Got it. Good? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Tyler Feen. I'm filling in today for Mark Hiller, who couldn't be here. This will be quick, just a few items to update you on from the legislative side. First, just updating a prior item that's been at the last few Procurement Council meetings, the suspension of state finance law sections 112 and 163 as provided in Executive Order 202 from back in March has been continued and is in effect until January 29th, 2021. That doesn't mean it won't be continued again beyond that date, but as of right now, it's been extended through essentially the end of the month, January 29th, and we'll keep you posted on that. And then there are just a few items from the budget bill that we wanted to highlight for you in terms of how it relates to procurement. First is Part BB, and that is the New York Medical Supplies Act. The bill would require that for the purchase of personal protective equipment, PPE, and medical supplies in all state contracts over $50,000, the PPE and medical supplies must be produced or made in the United States. However, this requirement can be waived by the head of the agency making the purchase under circumstances relating to cost, public interest, availability, and timeliness. And then we have Part FF, the Comprehensive Technology Service Contracts. And this bill would authorize the Director of the Office of Information Technology Services to issue design-build technology service contracts. And then we have, lastly, Part GG, Standard Clauses and Authorized Signatories Act. And this would limit unfavorable terms in state contracts, disallow unauthorized obligations, and ensure transparency concerning who may bind state agencies to contracts. So again, those are all parts of the budget. If you are interested in further details or the full text of those or of the entire budget bill, it's all available on DOB's website. So we would direct you there if you're looking for further details. And of course, we'll monitor them, and they're all subject to negotiation. They may make it in, they may not, they may take a different form, but we'll monitor those pieces and give you another update at the next Procurement Council meeting. And then the last item was just to notify everyone that the Senate has established a standing committee on procurement and contracts. So we don't have much further information than that at this time, but we will again monitor that, and if there's any important work that they do, we will keep you posted on it. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Tyler. Any council members have any questions about the legislative update? Okay. I'm not hearing any. Just double checking. Nobody was on mute, right?
Yes, excuse me. This is Jackie Brilling. I would just like to add that the Senate has appointed Senator Elijah Reichelin as the Procurement Committee Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Okay, in hearing none, there are a number of new business items that I just want to make sure everybody is aware of. On December 31st, 2020, there's a report, so there is a report expected by State Finance Law 162.8B. That is the preferred source application denials report that was submitted to the governor on December 31st. The report stated that during the 2020 calendar year, the council did not deny any preferred source applications. Also on December 31st, 2020, in accordance with State Finance Law 161.2K, the procurement report titled the Procurement Council Biennial Significant Findings Report for 1920 was submitted to the governor. This report addresses significant findings of the council, including but not limited to substantial savings generated by council initiatives and the recommendations of the council concerning the state's procurement process. So we have those listed as new business because they are not recurring at every meeting, but we wanted to make everybody aware that those reports were filed, and they were filed in accordance with those sections of law that create them. In addition to that, we also have our standard reporting. Sean Hume, are you available to offer those two standing reports? Sean, we might have had you muted. Are you there now? Okay. Sean, we apologize. We might have had you muted. Are you there? Okay. So I know I can provide for you that for the NYSID report on mail fulfillment, that report was submitted to the council and was distributed to you with the materials that were distributed.
Sean Carroll?
Yes.
Sean Carroll, this is Judy Dorsman, and I am on the preferred source team with Sean Hume. I would be happy to report on the preferred source commodity applications for new offerings approved under OGS standing authority.
That would be great. Thank you, Judy.
And as of January 26, 2021, OGS has not approved any items under its standing authority since the last report given on November 5th, 2020.
Great. Thank you, Judy, and thank you as always for the diligence to jump in, and we appreciate that.
My pleasure.
I believe Dan is NYSID also available on the call if anybody has questions about their report?
Sean, it's Meredith Hartman from NYSID. I'm standing in for Maureen, but available if there are questions.
Great. So I'll just ask the council if there are any questions about either of the standing reports. And if it is about the NYSID report, we'll ask Meredith to respond to that. I can call the roll if folks want, but if I don't hear a clamoring for questions, I'll probably just move on. Okay, hearing none, and certainly if I'm moving too quickly and you're unable to get unmuted, please just interrupt. We will absolutely come back to you. We're just managing the technology and the presentation as best we can. So in the absence of that, we'll now move to open council discussion, which is essentially new business or topics of discussion that didn't make the agenda. Are there anybody who has anything to raise in open discussion that they'd like to talk about? Okay. I'm going to double check. I'm going to ask a second time. Are there anybody who has anything they want to raise any subject they want to raise in open discussion? Okay. One last time, just in case you're stuck on mute and trying desperately to say something, please use the chat function and let Dan Rice, who's driving the WebEx, know that you have an interest in saying something. That way we don't miss you before I call for a motion to adjourn. Okay. Seeing none, the chair thanks you all very much for your participation. The next meeting is Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. And we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have the motion to adjourn from Dennis. Do we have a second?
Pravina seconds. Oh.
Okay, we have, I think, 16 seconds.
Yep.
I think I heard Pravina. Who else did I hear?
Cara.
Dwight.
Okay, I heard Cara and I heard Dwight. Great. So we'll take all 3 of those seconds. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Please unmute and say aye.
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 Great. All opposed to adjourning, please unmute and express that. All right. Hearing none, this meeting stands adjourned, and we will see everybody, or get to talk to everybody at least, on April 22nd. Please continue to watch the emails that are coming out from the Procurement Council. Again, our ability to host this digitally this way is tied to some of the legislative reporting about the suspension of 112 and 163. So if that changes at all, we will be sure that all the council members are aware of those changes in advance of the meeting. Thank you all very much, and I hope you all have a great day and a safe day if you do have to drive and you're avoiding the weather. Thank you very
Sean.
much.
You too.
Thank you.
Take care all.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.